How to repair show will start soon. Say your questions. Grab a drink. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. How to repair show will start soon. Save your question. Grab a drink. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.
Yes, mate, we're live.
Okay. Well, interesting weekend. Having to keep up with the feedback on a couple of videos, rewiring the setup that I want for the new workshop. If you all follow the channel on a regular basis, you know I'm going to be moving soon, one way or the other. And I've got a couple of film studios which I'm going to be setting up. One up with Christian, another in Ireland, and most probably down with Grant in Colchester, and visiting these on a regular basis. But today, really, I think I'm going to give you a show around the workshop because I have been wiring with Jamil like crazy. And I've had the equipment for a long, long time, but I've never ever worked out how to get it all working. And that's just because some technologies are above my pay grade, I'll be honest. But the real conversation I think we should have today is the refrigeration problem. The BBC picked this up the other day. You'll have to excuse the backdrop behind me because, yeah, let's just face it, I've only been back a week and we've had some damp, some rain coming in on the back of the building, and the wiring is atrocious and everything else. But this refrigeration problem has now been picked up by the BBC. Irish National Radio and television has already picked up on the right to repair and the new legislation coming into play. There is so much happening. I have been rewiring this workshop because it's all going to be transferred over to the new workshop where I have better lighting and a clean, brand new building. But let me just take you for a walk around. So what I've actually done is using some real clever stuff, which I am learning. So the first thing you've got to understand, shit's going to happen. And you just have to face the fact I am not the most intelligent in the world. But what I've done is I've paired, using Companion, my cameras to my mobile phone. And I think I'm going to invest in an iPhone, because not an iPhone, a iWatch, because I can actually transfer this to a watch, so I don't have to carry the phone. The other item I've got is an individual controller, and this allows me to basically go to preset areas in the workshop, and it allows me to zoom in to give you a better picture quality for when I'm doing repairs. Now, as I've told you, I'm already got 6 machines coming in this week. I've got delivery from a supplier, and if you're in the trade and in the UK, Portway is a very good company to deal with. They are actually sending us a couple of machines down tomorrow, and they are only for the trade. They're not for the general public, but they supply the retail shops all around the country. So let me take you for a wander. So if I go, now I'm getting used to this, so bear with me. Camera 2, and that should be the one up the top there. Oh no, I need to come round. Sorry, camera 3 I should be on. My fault. That's better. Now, this little baby is AI tracking. And if I just press that button, I think that will now start following me around the workshop. And this means that I can work on each individual appliance while you're filming. But let's say you want to have a look at the electrics. And when I say have a look at the electrics, we want to look down at the top of the machine. If I go through to camera 2, which is the overhead camera, and bear with me 1 second, I need to do all this. I am learning, as they say. This will allow me now to bring the camera down so you can see my hands when I'm working on everything. And I've got another camera set up over there, and that one's over there. And of course, this one will now track me as well and follow me around the workshop wherever I go. Oh, sorry, the tracking was off on that one. No, I should be on camera 1, then press the tracking. Now it'll follow me. So as you can imagine, I have an awful lot to get used to. Lots of gadgets, and I'm trying to make it a better show for you. Now, the good thing about the new workshop is we're going to have a little bit more space. And this means things like my overhead hoist and other bits and pieces will all be able to come into shop or into focus as I use them. And it'll give me better lighting because I'm not happy with the lighting in here at the moment. This is a make do scenario which I've been putting together. I have got some LED camera type lights, but things like my workbench light underneath here, I have to change because this may interfere with the camera's frequency, which I learned the other day. If you're seeing lines coming down on the screen, then this is all to do with the imbalance of frequency with regards to the camera lenses. But the most importantly is now I can actually go over to individual cameras and I can see on the screen here everything that you're sending me. So if I flick that back over to camera 1 and bring that round so you can see what I'm seeing, you can see that this television isn't balanced with the actual camera, and therefore you've got some banding on there. But this allows me
Paul.
Yes, mate.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had a glitch, but it's okay now.
Okay. Well, we're going to have glitches. We're learning, mate. Now, let me explain. Bring yourself on screen, Berkay, so we can explain to everyone. Berkay is my editor, and he is based in Izmir in Turkey. And because I can't, well, he's just not allowed to enter the UK at the moment due to lots of diplomatic shit we won't go on to, which is really disappointing for him because he loves traveling around the place with us. He's been to Morocco with me where we were filming the appliance industry there. I'm actually going over to Turkey shortly. And I'm going to be setting up a film studio over there as well. So we'll have one to look at appliances in Turkey, one in Portugal to look at appliances in the European market. I've also got Ireland as well. And we're also going to have the UK base, which is to look at all the UK appliances here. So I hope you appreciate the amount of work that we've put in getting all this together. And even today, I accidentally knocked the electricity off twice, and that reset my Starlink. And my God, I was in panic mode. So what can I say? So Berkay is able to bring everything else up onto the screen. I'm on the wrong camera at the moment, so I need to change this to camera 3 so you can see me face on. We've got a bit of a glitch there, haven't we, Berkay?
Yeah, mate. This is the problem I was going to tell you.
Yeah, so we're going to have to work out what that is. Just mark the time points that that's happening. But now we've got a clear picture, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to have some glitches. We've got a lot of stuff to work out, but I'm able now to see all the questions on screen. Today's stream is going to be basically talking about this refrigeration problem because 7 or 8 different councils in the UK now and different newspapers are picking up on this subject. And the one thing, even the BBC, and I wrote to the BBC because they'd done a very good article, if you can bring that up on the screen, Berkay. And excuse me, I'm going to get a seat. I'm fed up of standing up all the time. I am getting old and I deserve comfort. So basically the BBC, is that the BBC article?
Yep.
I don't think that, yeah, it is.
2 days ago.
So the BBC has reported that there is a huge problem in the UK. Now, I brought this up just before my mother passed in December, but I never actually got the video out for a couple of months, and you'll fully understand why. But what the problem is the councils now are having problems getting rid of the stuff that you take to the recycling centres. And, you know, this is only the tip of the iceberg. And the one thing the BBC didn't even understand or catch on, and this is why I wrote to them, They have no idea that this problem in a couple of years is going to be twice as bad. And the reason it's going to be twice as bad, guess what? Heat pump tumble dryers are refrigeration units. So if they think they've got a problem today, just imagine what it's going to be like when all these fridge freezers are turning up, because they have to be disposed of exactly the same as normal refrigeration. And this is just going to end up with catastrophic problems. And I don't know the solution. You know, the company in Newport, which was the Unimetal site, which shut down 9 to 10 months after it was sold by Sims Metal, there's something very fishy about that, because the government doesn't have the control it should do. The company that acquired it, Unimetal, then shut down 8-9 months later. I'm suspecting, and this is only my opinion, I'm suspecting there's a lot of skullduggery going on, and I'm going to keep my mouth reasonably shut because I don't want to end up in court for saying something that's incorrect. But someone who has a lot more resources, like the BBC or the local newspapers and everything, really needs to be investigating where the money went. Because I forget the figure that was actually used, but it was quite a few million that Unimetals paid for Sims Metals, and then basically went into receivership, and the public or the liability of. Now there was one. Sorry for jumping here. The last one you sent me, Burkeye, today after we were doing some research. Can you bring that up on the screen? Because they stated in, I think it was Electrical Retailer Magazine or Electrical Retailer Online, reported that the Newport problem, I said it was 20 to 30,000 fridge units. They reported it was 3,000 fridge units. And Oxfordshire County Council have also got involved because they've got problems as well, trying to get rid of all the refrigeration that's going into the yards and everything else. This is becoming a biblical problem. And when manufacturers only build obsolescence into their equipment, knowing full well that this stuff is going to be junk after 5 years, the problem is just getting worse. Politicians don't want to be looking at the recycling problem. They need to look at this problem, but they should be looking at the root cause to this problem. And the root cause is allowing companies to circumnavigate the right to repair. Meaning a washing machine 20 to 30 years ago was lasting 15 to 20 years. Machines are going in to the recycle centres now after 3 to 5 years. Some manufacturers are still building a reasonable quality, but that's at the higher end of the purchasing price. For example, the machine I'm doing my clothing in at the moment over there is a Bosch, and it's a new one. But the average lifespan on that machine, because it has a sealed drum, I am not expecting to get anywhere near what I would have got out of the old Bosches. The old Bosches from 2005 would last somewhere in the region of 15 to 20 years. I will be lucky to see 7 years off that appliance. This Hoover machine here, which I actually fixed, it was carbon brushes in the motor on this one. And this machine, basically, I repaired it, so I kept it from the landfill. But this Hoover washing machine has a sealed drum, meaning the lifespan is guaranteed by the manufacturer not to be much more than 5 to 7 years. But I have got a pleasant surprise for you. According to the technical diagrams on the 3 machines that I've got coming in, which come from the Hire group, Hire is the company that own Hoover and Candy. And I've bought a Hire machine, which is the medium price bracket one. And not only does it come with a 5-year guarantee, it has a splittable drum. But the Hoover and Candy machines, I believe, only have a 12-month guarantee, but they also come with a splittable drum. This means the manufacturer now has changed the way that they are building machines. In other words, building back into the machine the right to repair, meaning we can change the bearings, change the spider, and possibly prolong the life of the machine. And this is not because the manufacturers decided to get out of bed one morning and say, oh, we need to look after the general public. No, this is the EU Commission basically starting to pull a noose around their head and saying, you can't continue producing machines this way. So we got lots of good things happening in this industry for a change. And I must be honest, I am fed up of having to make videos all the time preaching about obsolescence and what has gone wrong in the industry. You know, you can see here, I think that is the one, Burka, I can see on screen that's got now. Yeah, this was 80,000. Electrical Retailer magazine reported this at 80,000 fridge freezers that Unimetals managed to walk away from. I wonder what it costs them for each appliance to recycle. You know, for some unknown reason, there's systems like this. A huge recycling centre is privately owned, yet the government wasn't able to vet the company when they purchased from Sims Metal. And, you know, there needs to be, when it is a real piece of infrastructure within the British economy, they really should be looking at this rather than letting it, you know, just be sold to another company and then this company within 9-10 months goes insolvent. So these are things that, you know, and I really would like your opinion on this. You know, remember one thing, this problem is going to be twice as bad starting today or starting at the end of the year. Because everyone hasn't signed the petition that we put in with regards to the heat pump tumble dryers, trying to stop government making them compulsory items. In other words, you won't be able to get a vented tumble dryer and you won't be able to get a condenser dryer. You will only be allowed to purchase heat pump tumble dryers. Now, most households have a fridge and they have a washing machine, and they normally in the UK have a tumble dryer, and that's due to our climate. Although it has been very good weather for the last few months, I've been told, but normally it's raining, shall we say, for 7-8 months of a year. So tumble dryers are needed in the UK. Anyway, let's see if we can deal with some questions, because I can see there's lots up on the screen. Burke, to save me scrolling through all these questions, because there's hundreds of them, can you just pop the ones up on screen so we can deal with them? I ordered shock absorbers for my Miele washing machine, but the bolts from the machine didn't fit. When you report this to Miele, they tell you to drive the bolts through. I can't comment on that really, because firstly, I don't know which part. There are a lot of parts that get superseded. You do need your serial number on some occasions to order spare parts. And Miele are not the greatest at the world, shall we say, in allowing general public to gain access to finding all the information. They don't give out technical workshop manuals. They don't give exploded diagrams of the machine. Miele used to actually put the wiring diagram under the lid on the machine. I don't know if they still do that. But shall we say they're not the easiest company in the world. And hopefully this new legislation that comes into place via the EU, this is one of the things that they should make compulsory. For those of you who are of my age and older, you will remember Haynes manuals. You went and bought a Ford Escort. You even had a Haynes manual on washing machines. But if you bought a Pacific car, you would be able to go and purchase a workshop manual for that, meaning you would know how to dismantle it, how the wiring was put together, the fuel systems and everything else. Manufacturers now are keeping their information. The reason being, they basically are building obsolescence into the machines. The less chance you've got to repair your machine, the better they're doing, because they're going to be selling you a new machine. And as I just said to you, one of the important factors And let me practice with some of this technology. Just bear with me 1 second. So if we go to camera 1, that'll do. And I put that on tracking. Basically, for example, Bosch, which is a very good company, they produce good machines. They own most probably 20 odd brands throughout Europe. Bosch, Siemens, and Neff are brands that you would know within the UK. Constructor and a few others are companies you may know in Spain. They have many brands that they operate on. Hoover, for example, Hoover actually are owned by Haier, and Haier own Hoover Candy and multiple other brands. Hotpoint, for example, a British make, was actually taken over by Hotpoint was taken over by Indeset. Indeset then was taken over by Whirlpool. Whirlpool then were taken over by Beko Europe. Now, they hide behind their brands. And in my opinion, this is tricking the general public. Because when you go in to buy a new washing machine and you say, for example, I'm never buying a Bosch again, but you walk out with a Siemens, you're actually ending up with the same machine in components. Not identical on every machine, but predominantly it is the same machine. Let me go back to this one. What's the next question that's come up? Bear with me, I got to get a drink. You can sometimes swap the metal bushings in the Miele suspension. Yeah, well, look, again, without part numbers and exploded diagrams, I can't be 100% on any of this. I have a Daewoo washing machine. Now, that's another make I actually do quite like. I have, worked on them on many occasions in Portugal, and they're not bad machines. I don't know what they're like in the UK because I haven't worked on many yet.
They also have that brand in Morocco, right?
I
They use
think
a
it
lot.
was.
They use a
Yeah,
lot.
I think Daewoo, Hisense, Haier, things like Hotpoint and Hoover weren't so. You don't see them out there, but you do see the Asian market machines, LG, Samsung, Daewoo, and a few of the others. You, of course, also see Midea. So let me just finish this one. I have a Daewoo washing machine and the plug, while it's heating, get too hot. What can I do? Well, the first thing you want to do is get an electrician in. The reason I say get an electrician in, you need to ascertain if the cable going to that plug is correctly wired, because cables get hot when the actual items are overloaded. Now, a washing machine, for example, if I come over here, that meter's not working. But if that washing machine was on heat, that would be drawing approximately 9 amp of electricity. Now, that's great on a 2.5 cable, even if it's a spur. But if you went and plugged a tumble dryer in alongside it, or a dishwasher, then you're overloading the cables. And sometimes the plug or the socket can become faulty, bad connections. All this adds up. Wherever the resistance is high, heat will be created. So you want to have an electrician look at this. It's in your interest. Next one. What is your favorite part of working on machines? Doing this. I take more pride in achieving. Let me give you an example. Haier, Hoover, and Candy are a company that really did build obsolescence into the machines. I never got a thank you card off them, and I don't think I will. But shall we say, I know that I am part of the problem that they had in being forced into making drums that are splittable. I think we're going to see Bosch basically stopping producing sealed drums. Sometimes a politician or sometimes someone in a commission may see a video and go, oh, I never thought of that. Oh, that's the problem. And they get things changed. I don't get recognition for this, nor do others. We basically supply the information. You take the video that I put up 2 days ago about washing machine spiders. It's only, I didn't think of it for ages. I'd actually been talking to quite a few people in old Yugoslavia, for example, on is there a difference between the metal? I'm no metallurgist, but suddenly I started doing some research and found out that lukewarm detergents being immersed around an aluminium spider, which has got stainless steel and steel next to it, is basically creating a galvanic battery. Now, maybe in the next 4 or 5 years, some smart manufacturers will go, oh yeah. I suspect they all know about this. And I suspect that they just think, oh, it's an extra bonus to guarantee obsolescence. But at the end of the day, when you consider the conventional washing machine has been running now for 50, 55 years plus, yeah, automatic washing machines around 1960, I think. So we're talking, 70 years. They have not changed the spiders that they're working on, but the spiders were deteriorating in the last 10 years much more often. And this is due to multiple, you can watch the full video, I'm not going to bore you on it, but basically, if we're washing at low temperatures and consistently washing at low temperatures using incorrect detergents, basically sludge builds up on the spider and it acts like a galvanic battery. That means that the aluminium is the weakest link in the galvanic battery. In other words, becomes the sacrificial anode. That's the easiest way of me explaining it without having a whole script here. Anyway, let's bring the next one up and try and keep on track. And I brought a seat today because I knew it was going to be a long show. I just had that funny feeling. How do I pronounce that? B-Chop Akoff. Okay. I've got a Miele WE1875 washing machine. Thankfully with stainless steel outer tub. Yes, I've scrapped a couple recently and they're good. Miele used to build some of the best machines in the world, and I will not take that away from them. But what they're up to now is the same as the other companies. They are still building higher quality machines than some of these here, but when you consider they're £1,000 plus, it's taking it away from normal people. Not everyone can afford a Miele washing machine. So they are better quality. Sorry, I missed that question, mate. Can you go back? I didn't finish it. I can see now that a lot of Miele new machines come with plastic. Oh, sorry, I answered the question myself on the rant. Yeah, go on, next one. Polycarbonate, yeah, if you're talking about, look, there's so many materials and I'm not a scientist. We could be, I've told a lot of people in that video to possibly look at 3D printing spiders with a steel shaft and using the 3D spider or the 3D carbon fiber for actually, because you can get carbon fiber filament now. And I've said to a lot of people, they want to actually start thinking about producing parts like this, because I think the manufacturers could do this like that, but they choose not to because it works in their favor, shall we say. Next one. Afternoon, Paul. If engineers got together and designed machines like the old Aquarius and Lava Mat options with components, would use... look, the appliance engineer, we could... I'm too, I have been asked on many occasions to go into designing a machine. It's not rocket science. The big problem being is time, which I haven't got. I'm 60 years of age. I intend to enjoy life and I enjoy doing this, but I don't want to be a slave to a factory and having to build the manufacturing processes and start. We have great manufacturers out there. Apart from they are answering to their shareholders instead of answering to their loyal customers. If you look at Bosch spent 50, 60 years building a reputation to be destroying it with built-in obsolescence. if we look at Miele, who have spent 100 years producing machines, and they're going down the same route. You know, this greed is what is the key virus in our industry today, whether it be washing machines or whether it be the car industry. These companies now are becoming so corrupt and not looking after general public in the way that they used to. All they care about today is money, and it needs to change. Next one. Dax Wolf N9W. After taking your advice regarding the heat pump tumble dryers or splittable drums, etc., I have just purchased two Blomberg LTA 09020W vented dryer. I haven't seen that one. And the LG series washer. I have seen that, and I worked on them. Not a bad machine. And the Libra fridge freezer. You've got a 10-year guarantee, or you should have, because I've noticed a lot of the retail outlets now offering 10-year parts and labour guarantees on their refrigeration. Libra is a very good refrigeration company, and I've always liked their stuff. What I didn't like was some of the crazy stuff that they put on them. They've got automatic doors that open. They've got, why are we complicating stuff so much? We need to keep it simple and keep it reliable. Okay, thanks for that one, Daz. Next one. I'm glad we got you sorted. The appliance engine again. Also, regarding the Samsung video you did earlier this week, I managed to find out why drums are failing prematurely. Let me know if you would like to talk about it. Yes, by all means, mate. Go to the contact us page, do the title, message for Paul, so everyone passes it through to me, and put your telephone number on there. I'll quite happily give you a call. Next one. I still have a Haynes manual for washing machines. Yeah, Hotpoint used to produce brilliant books. The Haynes manual for washing machines, I think they did 5-6 editions, and it was absolutely brilliant. In the camper, which I haven't offloaded yet, I've got a load of Hoover workshop manuals that Tom gave me from the 70s. Absolutely, this is when we cared about customers, all the companies cared about customers, and would disclose the information, trying to keep your machine going. They did a dishwasher one as well, yes. They are in a box somewhere. Well, dig them out, mate. Dig them out. And if you don't require them, I would really appreciate them, because when I move into this new unit, it is going to be dedicated to this industry. With regards, I'm going to be keeping a lot of individual components. Over the far side there, I've got a Hotpoint twin tub. I want to get a lot of other machines in there to do compatibilities. I'm building a whole new workbench, by the way. And the workbench is not only going to have test meters, cobwebs everywhere in this place after I've been away for a few months. So we're not only just going to have voltage meters, we're going to have NTC sensors built into it. So I can actually put an NTC sensor into the machine so we can see the water temperature, or with a tumble dryer, the air temperature on the intake and the outtake. I'm also putting water monitoring meters in so we can compare how much water is being used by a machine. I have spent a small fortune in bringing testing equipment to make sure it does what I want. So when I move into the unit, we're going to have everything. Every toy known to man, I am chucking at this. Yeah, so I'd much appreciate them if you don't need them. Thanks very much for me. Oh yeah, okay, I got it. Right, next one. Jams, ERI Jams. Is a Bosch washer dryer combo worth trying to deep clean? Yes, of course it is. I'm seeing videos on washing machines, on the dryers. I've got a video to do shortly. Now, I haven't got a washer dryer on the workbench, but I'm quickly going to explain this for anyone that needs an understanding of how they work. There is usually a heater system on the top with a fan system when it's on drying mode that circulates the air. All that needs to be cleaned every so often. But there's also a plastic condenser that runs down the back half of the drum. Now that condenser also has a water valve normally attached to it. And this trickles cold water down the condenser. So as the air is rotating through the machine, the warm moist air then travels over that trickle of water and condenses. And then the pump at the bottom of the machine transfers that liquid to the drainage system. All of this needs to be working correctly on washer dryers for them to actually function correctly. And if you've got blockage with fluff and everything up on the top, then it's going to restrict the airflow, cost you more to run, and also not dry very efficiently. So I hope that helps you. There is a dedicated video on the channel to how washer dryers work. And if you can find it, Burkeye, and chuck it in the description, I'd much appreciate it for that customer. Next question while you're looking for that video. What is the best machine to buy? Well, this is a very hard one for me to do at the moment. I've ordered a lot of machines which I'm going to be reviewing. I have been told recently, and Hire now on their top end brand are doing a 10-year parts and labour warranty. But I want to get one of these machines, and I'm going to put it alongside their Hire machine at the lower level. Not just to compare the two machines. I want to see if they're using the same components in their higher end machine, higher end, excuse the pun, but their higher price bracket machine with a 10-year guarantee, and see what components are in the lower machine. Because are they just slapping an extra £400-500 on the cost of the machine and then getting it underwritten by insurance, or are they building a better quality machine? But that'll be a video to come. Next one, what is the best machine to buy? I've dealt with that one. Thank you very much for that. Ghosty Pad Arts. Panda Ghosty Panda Arts. I'm just trying to look at the YouTube names because usually some people build in some very descriptive stuff into it, but I can't work that one out. Do you think consumer clarity should be? Yes, I think when you say consumer clarity, here we have a Hoover machine. The sales label in the shop should state manufactured by Hire. Hoover is a subsidiary or a brand that Hire own. They should all have the holding companies on them. Bosch, if it was a Siemens machine, it should have on there, built by Bosch Group or whatever they're operating. If it's a Hotpoint machine, an Inderset machine, whatever maker machine is, it should have the holding company's name on the identification label or the sales label. Now the French, and there's another video that I did 2 years ago when I was thrown out of a French superstore for videoing inside the store. The French have started a very good labeling system where they have a scoring index for how repairable it is. They also have an index with regards how affordable the spare parts are. They have an index saying how long the spares are guaranteed to be on the marketplace. All this information is good, but what they didn't put on there is which company owns. Because if let's face it, if you've got a Hoover washing machine and it lets you down in 2 years, would you want to buy that company's products again? The answer is no. So why should they have the right to trick you and put a candy that's got slightly different door, different panel, and you come out with a candy, not knowing that all the components that were in your machine that failed are still in the machine that's there. And this type of skullduggery has got to stop. Next one. Can I send you a thank you card? You'll be the first. No, when I don't, I mean, if manufacturers don't send me thank you cards, but no, you don't need to send me a thank you card. I would like you to do something for your next door neighbor or someone who needs some help more than sending me anything. I'm in a situation where, yes, I do like earning money, but I don't need it. I prefer to start seeing a bit of responsibility turning back into this world and people doing things for other people. And since COVID, we have become such a self-centered bunch of humans, and we're only caring about ourselves nowadays, and we need to be caring much more about other people and helping. So thank you very much for the offer, but no need. Next one. You can all send beer. Not Ported Jaguar. Sorry, I'm trying to work these out. I'm dyslexic, so remember that. No go for anything. Not go for anything owned by Argot. I don't know Argot. Don't know them, sorry. Might be a European brand that I'm not familiar with, so I do apologise, but thanks for sending that in. I might have a look after the show who they are. Next one. Forark, yeah, okay, got it. Wonderful, thank you for the help on YouTube. You are providing a service not a lot of people really appreciate. Well, if I can help a few and educate a few more on top of that, because of word of mouth, I'm doing my job. Thank you very much for that anyway. Next one. Like his clean clothes. I have a 13 kilo Hoover, Series 5 and Series 7 13 kilograms. Both have splittable drums. At last hire, yes. And, you know, may we make changes step by step, and maybe some European Commission guys and UK, because the UK really only care, the government seems to only care about consumption because it's propping up these false economies that we live in today. You know, we need to not look at the problem that exists, for example, with the refrigeration. We need to understand the root cause. And the root cause to all this refrigeration problem that we have, where we have mountains appearing, companies not dealing with the problem, is because machines are built to last such a short period of time. And with all the problems in the world, not mentioning any names to certain countries, but people are going to war over commodities, and it needs to stop. We need to start looking after each other and start looking after our neighbors. In other words, I do not know why we are still manufacturing so much stuff in China. We've got, I mean, the whole of Europe. Italy was the 7th largest manufacturer in the world a while back. I don't know where they stand at the moment, but they were basically producing most of Europe's washing machines. And now everything is going to China, and it's reducing jobs. You know, yes, Chinese people do need to earn a living. They do need to have a good economy. But the world needs to have a good economy, not just individual companies and starting to produce here instead of there. Anyway, that's ranting on to politics. VD Vandy, 1, thank you. The new Siemens washing machines now has also a steam function. Yeah, what for? Just the machine can pull up to 20 amps. The cable spelt with a C. Believe it or not, I can spell a little bit, but it's spelt differently, cable. But I do appreciate you from another country. From the machine is only a 1.5. If you are in Europe and it is a 20 amp appliance, they are most probably using multiple phases, meaning it's not a standard single live, single neutral and single earth. They're most probably running 3 phases and a neutral. But it all depends on which I can't answer questions like that because I don't know what the legislation in each specific country is. But for example, induction hobs or things like that in Portugal are always run on a 3-phase system, because the single phase system is not able to supply 20 amps, for example. So I hope that helps you. But get an electrician to give you advice in your own country. Next one. No idea how to pronounce that name. 742. Thank you very much for sending the question in. Hi, my Beko DCX71100W dryer PCB failed. I found used replacements and works again. Look, this is a prime example of a gentleman that's had a problem. He's used his initiative. I say gentleman, I apologize if you're a lady. Basically, there is so many ways to repair machines if you use your brain. Just because you see a manufacturer selling a circuit board for £150 does not necessarily mean you have to give up there. Sometimes if you hunt around using your model number on Facebook, eBay, even the How to Repair website, where our partners now are listing secondhand parts, we can recycle better as businesses and provide you an alternative to having to replace expensive components. And that's what How to Repair is about. Bringing a group of people together which are working as a team, not only to make money, because we're all in business, but to also improve the situation for you, the general public. Next one. Oh, that is that's from Ireland. Worthwhile. Can you do it near Cork Island? PCBs repairing my... Well, if your tumble dryer PCB had failed, the first thing I would be looking at, by the way, is the relays on the circuit board. If the circuit board is completely dead, that's a different kettle of fish. But if it wasn't sending heat to the heating system, or it was a problem with the heating system, it could just be a faulty relay on the circuit board. And I haven't got any to hand to show you. Oh, I might have. Bear with me 1 second. I got a washing machine one. I can't do this straight away, but hidden inside there, if I bring it up to the camera, if you just see that white square thing in the back there, that's a relay. And relays do become faulty on these things. So that might be worth having it looked at. I got boxes and boxes in there ready to move. Christian up in Grimsby is going to be coming down and taking quite a bit of spares off us and everything else to start the move on this place. Anyway, next one. The car care nut on... The car care nut on... Oh, right, someone on YouTube, yeah. Or is he called the car care nut? Just had a video on aluminium, AC, PIOS and steel clamps. I mentioned this same galvanic interact. Yeah, you know, it makes me question whether manufacturers, you know, how much money have they got? How much engineers have they got? Far more intelligent than myself. But they can't make a machine to last 20 years anymore. No, they're spending their resources and time making sure that they can design a machine that fails in a short period of time to get you lot to buy new quicker. And this greed has to stop. This is the virus in the world at the moment. Ported Jaguar, they make it so pricey to stop you from the right to... Yeah, things are changing though. I'm starting to become a lot more confident when it comes to what the EU is doing. Britain is, you know, why we came out of Europe, I have no idea, but that's another bloody story. I'm not going into that one, otherwise I'll get more hate mail. But, you know, we need to start working correctly with the EU when it comes to some policies. And the EU is, you know, if you go and buy this machine a couple of years ago from Superstore, Curry's, they would only give you a 12-month guarantee on this machine. But yet the same machine in France at Calais, just across the water, you could have gone and bought with a 2-year guarantee. Same model, same everything. Because the EU legislation made a manufacturer responsible that they have to supply a 2-year guarantee. When it comes to things like, here's one for you. Will the camera follow me around? My Ninja just came out of the camper van and I want to give it a damn good cleanup. It's a great air fryer, but that company does not even supply spare parts for it. They are exempt because they are not classed the same as an oven, but it costs the same amount of money. It's wrong. And the governing bodies are not controlling this industry correctly. And it's, you know, they really do need to put a commission together with people that really come from real world scenarios, engineers from out on the streets, people who work on machining customers' houses, because this heat pump technology is great for apartment blocks and stuff like that, where you are not able to put solar on. I wish I could show you I haven't got a camera set up, so I could show you. We are now, matter of fact, dare I do it? I'm going to push this camera back to there, hopefully without breaking anything, and come over here. Now I have a meter here and I am completely off grid in this workshop. And basically I am at the moment 100% on my battery. I am still producing at 6 o'clock at night. Come back here, camera. Come back. Camera lost me. To see if it picks me up again. Just bear with me. Camera 3. That's better. I'm getting used to, I've got to keep playing with this technology because I've got to get used to it. But basically 8 o'clock in the evening, I am still producing just under a kilowatt of electricity. This is offsetting my lighting in here. My load on the system at the moment is, sorry, I told a lie. I was looking at the wrong meter. My AC load in this building at the moment is 853 watts. The sun is producing 2.3 kilowatts. That's 2.3 kilowatts, and we are 6 o'clock in the evening. So, you know, I'm running off grid. It is more important for you to put solar on your property than it is to have a heat pump tumble dryer. It's going to be more beneficial. Do you know that solar panels normally come with 10, 20-year guarantees? Does your washing machine come with that? So, of course, you're better off putting solar on if you can, but not everybody can. And it's, you know, it's the way forward. Anyway, next question, please. Dennis, good afternoon to you. But at least the Spider is stainless steel now again at Miele machines. I didn't look, I haven't stripped down any of the new ones yet because the only Miele's I ever strip, if the printed circuit board is gone or the bearings are gone and I'm not able to replace the components, because I've got a Miele hidden back there. That's a W1 that came in to the workshop a while back, and it was one of the machines to be scrapped. And then I found that there was nearly a carrier bag wrapped around the heating element that had melted onto the heating element, and that was stopping it emptying. And that was all that was wrong with it. And that now is my, well, it's not on the test bay for the simple reason I'm too lazy to lift it there because it weighs an absolute ton. But it's a great workhorse still. And I expect that machine is, at least 12 years old. So any Miele that ever comes in, yes, I try to fix it because they are great machines if they were built from around 2010. Likes his clean clothes. Does carbon fiber spiders affect corrosion with... No, carbon fiber would not get it. Carbon fiber is not a metal. It's not going to deteriorate. We just need a solution which is strong enough to handle the high RPMs, a solution with regards making sure it can withstand the heat of 90-degree water, and also doesn't deteriorate in age because of chemical process or anything else. But, you know, as I said, there are far greater people out there than myself who could address this problem very quickly and very easily. I mean, you imagine some of the engineers that they've got in Bosch, really, really super intelligent nerds who really know what they're doing. But the accountants basically say, don't build me something that lasts, build me something that's good that lasts 7 years. And that's their fundamental policies, all companies. You know, look at the Ford Transit. Every tradesman in the country at one stage would have had a Ford Transit during their working career, or most of them. And now they've gone out and produced a wet belt system. It is an app. For those of you who don't know, by the way, the wet belt is the timing gear belt. It used to be a chain or on the external side of the engine. Now they've built a belt that sits in the oil. And as the belt starts to fray, it clogs up the sump. And if you don't maintain it and do everything properly, basically it stops the oil circulation. And then what happens? Boom, self-destruct button. But, you know, I don't know why these companies are keeping doing things like this. Have I dealt with that one? Oh, no, I haven't. Dumb it. Not even going to try. Only thing I personally mad about is the cost of spare parts for me. Yes, Miele are extortionately expensive. And that's why whenever we get second-hand parts on the How to Repair website, which are Miele parts, they have sold like hotcakes. I even sold, I think, the feet off a Miele. You know the screw feet that go into the bottom underneath here? And I put them on thinking no one's going to buy them. And I put them on for £10 for a set of 4. Within 2-3 days, they'd gone. A bag of screws that came from stripping down the machine, I put it on at £4.95 for the bag of screws. They sold like that. There is a real, what's the wording I'm looking for? Cult about Miele. There are a lot of people that really love the machines, and they are brilliant machines pre-2015. But the latest stuff today, I am seeing a decline in the way that they're doing things. And I think it's only for the purpose of greed. But that's my opinion. I'm not saying anything bad about them. Absolutely blooming adored Ireland. But let's face it, I did have the weather for a month. I mean, if you look at all the videos that I've put on the channel, I've done recording from driving from X to Y, all the way down from the bottom of Ireland, doing the Wild Atlantic Way, all the way to the top of Ireland. I had extremely good weather. I had great people, great bars, great food. I could not say anything bad about Ireland. I think it's a brilliant country. Only problem being is I know I saw it once with this weather. I don't think I'm ever going to see it again. But anyway, next time I go, it'll be tipping down with rain, I imagine. Can we visit your workshop and meet up in person one day? By all means, as I said, I'm actually moving to the new workshop, and I'm going to be doing a whole video series on how to build the workbench, how to build all the test meter equipment, everything else, and even the camera system I'm going to do a video on, because it took me a long time to work out how to get all this stuff set up. And that's basically because all these techies out there on YouTube who do videography and everything else, no one is thinking about laymen like myself. I'm good at these things. I'm not good at these cameras, monitors, and technology, and NDI, and all these bloody new names that I have to learn. At the end of the day, I just want to plug something in and it works. But it was a long process getting this together. But I'm starting to, once I got the lighting sorted, I'm really happy. And having Berkay back me up in Turkey by doing all the graphics that you see on the screen now, not just me standing here, there is the whole rest of what you can see, and Berkay is in control of it. He can bring guests on. He can bring uh, video footage from a video that I've done a week ago. He can put links in the chat. This allows me to concentrate on you, to try and give you the best help with appliances. So there is a lot more than you actually see going on. Oh, we had a super chat from Turkey. Thank you. Bring that one up on screen. I'm reading it on the chat there, I think. Am I reading that correct? Yeah. How much is that, Berkay? Is it enough for a beer?
No, mate.
Okay, well, thank you anyway. Hi from Turkey. I am torn between Bosch Series 4.6 and Beko. Well, I have to tell you something here. Beko is Turkish, okay? And I would not only support your own country, although Bosch is having some manufacturing done within Turkey, Beko is predominantly owned by Silica, or is Silica. And I imagine spare parts are going to be far more beneficial to you in price-wise when you have a problem with the machine. And because there are so many machines in Turkey, and am I correct in saying, Berkay, Beko would be the most sold item in Turkey?
Uh, Probably, but maybe Bosch, mate. Maybe Bosch. But
Actually, Bosch is very Bosch.
Beko is also
Right,
popular,
Bosch.
but Bosch is also popular.
Right, okay. Well, I'd support your own country myself. I mean, if we had a British manufacturer, I would always support a British manufacturer. This is where Britain has gone wrong because our population turned to the Italians when the Italians were manufacturing Indesit, Ariston, Zanussi, and all these companies that were manufacturing in Italy at the time. We left our core companies like Hotpoint, Hoover, Creda, Jackson, and all these companies. And we went, oh, the Italians are building a washing machine for £30 cheaper. Let's go and spend the money with them. That destroyed our UK industry. And that is why you should support your local industry. You should support the local businesses, not always the corporations. Yes, they're going to give you a better price. Most probably, if you wander into Curry's and get a washing machine, you're most probably going to get a better price than you would do with your local shop in the high street. But that local shop in the high street will support you for much longer than the company, like a corporate company. If you went back into your local shop and you'd been buying off them on a regular basis and the machine was just out of warranty, I bet you they'd help. You try going back to Curry's and trying to get some help when you're outside of guarantee. They're just going to point you at the insurance policy or tell you to look on the internet. They're not going to support you. Ryan, any recommendations for washing machines for someone moving into their first home on budget? Yes, and I've got a machine coming in this week, an Esato, believe it or not. It's, I think, 200 in the £200 price range, and it comes with a 2-year parts and labour guarantee. Most of the low-end budget machines only come with a 12-month. This new company, and I'm going to have the machine in here shortly. It arrives tomorrow, a matter of fact, and I'll be doing a review video. So if you can hold off a week or so until I get the video done, I'll be doing an unboxing video on it and putting it up onto the workbench so you can see it working. I might actually do that as a live stream sometime later in the week. I've got a few meetings to attend this week, but I most probably do that as a live stream, and then I'll do a dedicated video on the machine. But we'll look at that in more depth later on. Beko, again, they only given a 12-month warranty unless you can find an extended warranty on them. Do not get conned into buying these insurance policies and so on, because any machine you buy today, if you can raise your money up a little, I mean, these Bosches now, for example, come with a 5-year parts and labor guarantee. We're moving in the right direction when manufacturers are starting to put 5-year guarantees on things. I would like to see higher, not higher as in the make, higher as in the longevity of the machine. But let's face it, you know, when you're looking at bottom end, the companies have to make money, but they also, I have no problem with them building a cheap machine at an entry level price, but make it affordable to be repaired. If you're able to sell a machine for 260, 270 pounds, the motor for that machine should only be 70, 80 pounds. It shouldn't be 150 pounds, because how did you build the machine in the first place if you had components that expensive and selling it for 250 pounds? But we'll have a look at that machine later in the week. So yeah, just have a look for a long warranty. Whatever your price bracket is, look for a long warranty. Oh dear. Is AEG a good brand when it comes to reliability and repairability? I have always been impressed with AEG. Electrolux and Zanussi are the same company. Zanussi is being phased out in the UK because they decided to go with the AEG brand name in the UK. And that's because the AEG brand was the higher end of the spectrum on their branding price scale. I haven't looked at their new machines as yet, and I will be looking into them because I'm going to be bringing a lot of machines into the workshop for you. But really, we want to look at what is the warranty on the machine. Their workshop manuals are very good. Electrolux produce very good workshop manuals, and I am able to access those manuals to help individuals, and they do really good stuff like that. Their pre-2010 machines and a little bit older were very good quality machines. But as I said, I haven't worked on the latest ones yet. And I do know their circuit boards are expensive for what they are. And they have had problems on some of their electronics. But I'm not going to pass judgment on them until I've worked on one properly. Next one, mate. Am I correct, Burke? Are these more people turning up? Yeah,
You're correct.
I'm never. Bugger, 1 second. I smoke, I drink. I don't mind helping you. So if you don't like me smoking, I'm not going to be drinking at this time of day, but I'm not going to sit here for 3-4 hours and not have a cigarette. So if you don't like it, go to someone else that helps you who doesn't smoke. 1 second. Right.
Guess what?
Next one. Yeah.
We have a new donation for you, for your beer.
Oh, well, let me deal with this one first. We'll get that to a second. Celtic Vape. Trust me to vape as I light a cigarette up. Hoover fridge freezer. Low frost ice collecting in the bottom of the freezer. Low frost ice. Not too sure what you're meaning with low frost ice. Right, first things first is if it's a single compressor and it's a fridge freezer, the compressor and gas that is in that fridge freezer maintains the temperature throughout the fridge freezer. The freezer is the first, when the gas initially goes into the machine, it normally goes through the fridge freezer and then into the fridge. But on other systems, they only have the cooling system within the freezer. And then a fan system blows that air up to the actual fridge system. And then you have a separate thermostat that tells the fan when to come on and off to blow the temperature to the fridge. I'll try and explain it correctly. If you are ending up with what I think you're saying, low frost ice, meaning fluffy white powder snow, it's like snow, then it doesn't seem to be getting cold enough. And this could be because I need to know if the fridge compartment is maintaining its temperature or not. But it would be a good idea before you start to actually move your food to a safe place where you can keep it stored, of neighbor's fridge freezer or whatever, and then turn it off and leave both doors ajar for 36 hours to allow the matrix, which is inside the freezer, to totally defrost. Because a lot of the problems that occur with these modern fridge freezers today are because of the defrost systems. The defrost systems are what become faulty, and why so many of these fridges are ending up in landfills, because they've overcomplicated the whole system. And by overcomplicating the whole system, they have reduced the reliability. A fridge freezer, like that one at the back there, and I haven't got a camera to get back there, has got a fridge compartment and a freezer compartment. The cooling system runs through the freezer and then into the fridge. And you only have a thermostat that controls the temperature. It basically comes on and turns off as the fridge compartment reaches the right temperature. These auto defrost systems work totally differently, and they're much more complicated and not reliable. What make is that? That is a Zanussi A-Class. That fridge freezer back there has been with me for over 40 years and never missed a beat. Always had cold beer. Anyway, mentioning beer, move on to the gentleman that sent a donation in so I can thank him. For RK me, for me. Yeah, sorry, I read these and I forget. Thank you very much for the donation, mate. Much appreciated. I really can't thank you enough for sending us a beer in. It always goes down well. And later this evening, I will be supping one on you. I hope I worded that correctly. Right, so what did you say? You helped me with my oven fan last May. You even phoned me. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I don't remember each individual, but I must do 50, 60 phone calls a week, plus 500 odd emails, plus doing this as well. If my books and his donation can help more, then happy to throw a couple of quid and send them. Look, hold back, because don't send them yet. Wait till I get in the workshop, because as you can imagine, I have a ton of stuff to move from here. And when my mother passed away last December, I inherited the family house, and it's like 2 acres of ground, plus my workshops, which have been here, well, God knows, I've been here now 20 odd years doing this. And, you know, I've had the house furniture to move, the office down the other side to pack up, decide what to give to the local charity shops with regards my mother's clothing, the furniture that's in the house and everything. It's a nightmare when these things happen. And this is why I'm downsizing, because really I like living in my camper. I love traveling. I don't have any use for a large house whatsoever. So anyway, I've got to say it slowly for RK me, rather than saying it the other way, which would get me banned on YouTube. But thank you very much for the donation. Much appreciated, mate. Next one. Ooh, my beer of choice, Superbock. Followed by, right, let's go in countries. When I'm in Portugal, it's Superbock and Superbock only. When I'm in Spain, I can't get Superbock, so I drink Mau. When I'm in the UK, I get what I can at the prices that I can get it for. When in Holland, Grosche is my favorite. In Germany, pretty much all of them I love. Look, there's so many choices. Ranjaboo's another one I like when I've been down in the Middle East. You know, and even when I was in Morocco, there were brands of beer. Although it's a dry state country when it comes to the local people, the government allow certain supermarkets to sell beer. And I was coming across some very good beers in Morocco that I'd never heard of before. And trust me, I've drunk enough. So yeah, but yeah, I'd say my favorite Superbock. Next one. Matt Koss 19. After I changed bearings in the last 2 months, did it again last 12 months. What did I do wrong? Well, there's many things you could have done wrong. You might have put cheap bearings in to start with. The bearings, you must remember, when you fit bearings, they need to fit tightly on the inner race and also the outer race. Now, the bearing hub, or the back half of the drum where the bearing sits in, is aluminium, and the bearings need to go in square. When I say square, when you're knocking them in or pulling them in, if you pull them in at an angle, you're damaging the outer housing. They need to be fitted correctly. And sometimes you can have a chemical, like this is stud lock, but you can also have what you call bearing lock, and this will lock the inner. It's like a glue basically, that glues the inner race and outer race to the shaft and to the drum. If the bearings are loose in the machine, that could be the reason. If you are putting cheap bearings in, and I'm not going to say the country, but you all know what I'm thinking, then yes, the bearings might not last as long. NFK, NFK. There are many good bearing manufacturers out there. Just fit good quality bearings, inspect the spider, even put a micrometer on the spider to make sure that it hasn't worn on the spider and the bearings loose on the inner race, because that could cause a problem as well. But there's many reasons the bearings could go in such a short period of time. And also they could go because the inner seal on the drum is allowing water to pass into the bearing, causing it to corrode. And that would be something that would cause a problem as well. So you need to look at all that. But thanks for your question anyway. Next one. Hi, Paul from Boston. Good afternoon to you, Brend and McCarth. 3976. A recent video you did on heat pump tumble dryers really helped me here with the repair. Thank you. Well, I imagine if I did a video on heat pump tumble dryers, it wasn't helping you. It might have been helping you to understand that the filter system is very important, but really the heat pump tumble dryers are just, in my view, not there yet. The reliability side is not there, and they are being forced upon the UK people where we don't get a choice anymore. We only basically are going to be allowed at the end of this year, if we don't get legislation changed, to buy heat pump tumble dryers. You're not able in the UK or Europe now, or Europe especially now, because that's already being implemented. You can't buy Condenser tumble dryers. And I think these politicians have no idea that there are a lot of people in rural communities who have heat pump or have tumble dryers in outbuildings, garages and sheds. And when it comes to the winter, when you really need a dryer, these machines are not either not going to work because it's too cold in that room, or they are going to become highly inefficient because they're not operating within the temperature zone that they should be in. So anyway, I'm glad I really helped you, but do be aware of that. And I believe in America, you've got some great big dryers and washers out there, and you do have a good choice. The UK doesn't have this American type of machine because our kitchens are so blooming small. Dennis, good afternoon to you. Miele made in Germany. Yes, please. Miele made in Poland. No thanks. Great points, Dennis. And let me educate the world to this. Miele are a German company and manufactured machines in Germany, but as the companies got bigger and bigger over the years, they outsourced their work to other companies. And a lot of companies have had hiccups because the machines are not built to the quality control, shall we say, that they should be, or the machines are made more cheaply. Now, for example, what Dennis is saying here on the screen is most probably the cheaper end of the Miele price bracket, meaning the machines around 800 to £1,200 are produced in Poland. But the machines that are produced for the higher end, which may be a £1,500 to £2,000 machine, may come from Germany. And there is a total difference in the build quality. And, you know, this guy knows what he's talking about here, because I can tell by the question. And really, it does come down to getting advice. And the problem is there's not enough people out there with the knowledge to know these type of things. Barry in Ireland, for example, is a geek when it comes to appliances, and he's only in his 30s. You know, there are certain people who you need to get advice on when buying machines. And that's why I do this show. I look at things honestly, like the ASCO machine that I recently did the video on. And I recommended that machine because it was a well-built machine. Right, Dennis, the Miele washing machine 2020 and up are great again. The Miele machines 2020 and up are great machines again. Right, so you're saying the older machines pre-20, so we go back to 2015 to 2020, were not so good. All stainless in the outer tub and spider, made from massive stainless steel 304, not 316. There are different grades of stainless steel. 316 is designed for the marine industry. 304 is the actual lesser quality stainless steel. But I do understand why they don't put 316 into washing machines. That would be like creating the Rolls Royce of stainless steel in the machines. They even cook a soap, in the hygienic. Oh, to hygienically clean it. Right, okay. I was trying to work out what you were saying there. Look, I'm going to have a look at the latest Miele machines, but I have to be honest with you. I don't know if you're UK based. Yes, I think, no, you weren't UK based. The other gentleman was. In the superstores today, I am seeing Miele machines with plastic outer drums. And I've seen this 5-6 months ago. I haven't been over to Curry's or Big Superstore recently in the UK because I've been traveling, but I will be going to have a look in there shortly. So I will be looking into that, mate. But thanks very much for giving everyone the information. And I'll take it your opinion's good. Mr. Washer Dude, hi Paul. I'm currently making a start on repairing my newest project washing machine, which has failed. Drum spider, and I'm replacing the spider on a 2004 LG. Excellent job. Make sure that the area where it touches the seal on the inner drum, I always put a smear of Vaseline on it while it beds itself in. But that seal is the most important thing. And when replacing the bearings, make sure you use quality bearings. Don't use some of the cheaper, you know which country I'm on about. I'm not going to say it because I don't want them hating me as well. Next one. Now we're going to have to stick a time scale on this because this is just getting out of control. Burkeye, 7 o'clock okay with you? UK time?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, okay, because I know that's 9 o'clock your time. Claudio Gonzales, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Paul, you are the best. Thanks for all you do. I have a problem with my 8-month-old Hisense washing machine, F03 draining filter and black hose inside drum. Drain motor propeller seems okay. Okay, let me just give you a quick rundown. You have got a multimeter. First thing you want to be doing is turning that to your voltage that you need. I'll bring this up to the camera for you. And try and attach that to the wiring. Now, I don't know the model of machine and I can't do it off the top of my head. But what you need to ascertain is whether something's going beep here and I don't know what it is. Burkeye, tell me if my audio's working. Yeah.
Yeah, it's working.
Burkeye? Okay, something was beeping and I can't work out what was beeping. Yeah, so as I was saying, attach that to the two wires so you make sure that the pump has got the correct voltage. It could be a DC motor, it could be an AC motor, but you'll have to check on the motor itself. Make sure that the voltage is to the motor. If it's still not emptying, you may have a problem with the motor. You want to actually run the machine dry, turn it to empty, and see if you can see the impeller turning. You may have a restriction in the sump hose, which you've said by the sound of it that you cleaned it. Also check the grey hose or the outlet hose going from the machine and test it into a bucket. Don't just use your drainage system because you may have a problem with your drainage system. The error code that you put up was most probably related to the pump system not emptying in the allocated period of time, because washing machines only get so long to be able to empty, and then it will go into an error sequence. And that could be a blockage from going to the pump, a blockage from the pump, or the pump itself causing the problem. So I hope that helps you. If you've still got problems and you're UK based, use the contact us page on the website. Next one, mate. Likes his clean clothes. What do you think of new solar panels for the home? Is it a con? No. Basically, if you're talking about the plug and play solar, it is very important that you consult an electrician before plugging an array of solar into your electrics, because it is very important that the cables in that circuit are capable of supplying that or receiving that amount of ampage from whatever the panel array is. Solar panels now have come down in price, and I'm in the trade. So I'm going to tell you the trade price because it doesn't bother me. You can get a good quality panel for as little as 50 to 60 pound a panel nowadays. And if you've got a good installer, you should put as much solar on your property as possible. And don't just think, oh, it's been a lovely summer, I only need 4 kilowatt. You have to think of the winter. The more panels that you've got, the better. And if I quickly come off camera a second, we are now at 7, coming up to 6:30 in the evening. I am still producing 800 watts of power. Yes, I've got 11 or 12 kilowatt of solar array out there. But even at 6:30 this evening, I am producing enough power to run that machine that's going on in the background. And at the moment, I am producing, it's just dropped below 800 to 700, but my workshop is using 850 watts of power. So at the moment, I'm only pulling 100 watts off the grid. And I have another array of panels down at the house that runs the house as well. So that's most probably still producing power because I'm not down there at the moment. So yes, panels are worthwhile, but do consult a good solar company. If you're from South Wales, I use a guy called Trevor, Carbon Neutral Systems, and he is brilliant at doing all the connections and everything. And there you go, Trev, you got a plug. Solar, as I said, if you've got garden space or roof area, I don't know why we have roofs anymore. If you've got a south-facing roof, an east-facing roof, or a west-facing roof, every square inch of that roof should be covered in solar. You don't have to buy tiles then even to roof it. There are modules available now, which is for whole roof structure. No tiles, it's all solar. And that's the way to go forward. Right. Rolf, yeah. Does cleaning tablets for machines make any difference? Dishwasher, yes. If it doesn't have a self-cleaning mode, there's lots of chemicals that you could put inside a machine. I've heard vinegar, I've heard bleach. For me, I just chuck a couple of dishwasher tablets into a washing machine drum when I know it's got a lot of sludge in there. And I put some old rags in the machine. Burkeye, if you can dig out the mold video, and it is not just worth watching this video, but go to the, it's a half-hour video or something like that. But it's a video that shows you what comes out of a machine that was clean and working perfectly. And I put 2 dishwasher tablets in with a load of rags, and you want to see the color of that water. I mean, they were clean clothes that I put in the machine, clean rags. They'd already been washed, 2 dishwasher tablets, and you want to see the crud that came out of that. It was incredible. And that just emphasizes washing at cold temperatures shows you what builds up inside the drum. My Samsung washing machine is about 8 years old. Yes, I mean, I would really do, a self-clean cycle should really be run. If you are washing at low temperatures all the time, I would do a hot wash for cleaning process of the machine once a month. If you're using the machine 3-4 times a week on 20 to 40 degree washes, then once a month, just do a boil wash. Get the rags out the way, or it's going to help prolong the life of the machine. And if you look at the previous video that I put out 48 hours ago or so about the drum spiders, you'll see the corrosion that has taken place with the galvanic problem that exists with aluminium in machines. So I hope that helps you, mate. Next one. Hi, also from Turkey. We're gaining a Turkish audience. Those Turkish videos you've made, Burkay, must be actually bringing some Turkish followers.
Yeah, probably they are assisting.
Yeah. Hi, also from Turkey. I want to replace my almost brand new Bosch Series 4 because it's not filling enough to be able to rinse good. Yeah, this is the problem with machines now. You see, environmental, I do understand what the governments and manufacturers are up to here. They are trying to conserve water and energy when it comes to machines being used. In certain countries like Turkey, which is a very hot climate, I fully understand legislation coming into place with conserving water, but I also appreciate what you are trying to do as well, because sometimes if you are washing with a drum, and this has got to go on after, but trying to wash things and rinse jackets and everything else, I mean, that's a couple of body warmers out of the van, and they absorb a lot of water. And really, I haven't got the solution for you. Old pressure switches used to be adjustable. New ones, you can't really adjust them. The only thing I can say is do a wash, and if you need to rinse it more, do a secondary wash with no detergents, but just put it on a cold. That's the only way around it. Whatever machine you buy today, they are all using a lot less water. And it's just the way the manufacturers are making the machines. They have to get the energy certification, which is like AA rated machine or AAA rated machine. And that means that it not only needs to be conserving on electricity, it also needs to be conserving on water as well. So yeah, I haven't got the answer for you. You could always go back to a twin tub. Now that's a great machine, but it means manual labor. And that way you're able to rinse the clothes yourself and spin them out and so on. Idris, good afternoon to you, sir. What's the word he's trying to say there? Or is it my dyslexia?
Destroyed.
Destroyed, yeah. Yeah, well, look, all countries' appliance industries have been destroyed, and it is destroyed because we've let the industries of the world go to the far Asian market. I would love to know what happens one day when we upset the Chinese or the Asian market so much that they start putting what Trump is doing today to Iran, putting sanctions on and stopping. Are we all going to be out of washing machines when we fall out with a country because all the washing machines are made over there suddenly? Has anyone ever thought about this? What happens when we end up at war with a country or falling out with a country? What happens to, where are we going to get our washing machines, our fridges from? We're going to be put back to the Stone Age overnight. It's a joke, really. But, well, I won't go into politics, I promise myself. I have a Zanussi jet system. Oh, that would be an old one, which has never needed repair. It's knocking on now. Of course, it's knocking on. It's 1970s. Is it 1970s or 1980s? I think jet system, and in my main machine. But it will be worth repair. Yes, I mean, I wouldn't even think twice. I would repair your machine if you can get the spare parts. Now, it's quite interesting that I was actually looking online when I made the video on the spiders. And I remember that Zanussi never really had any problems with corrosion on the spiders on their old machines. And I think the aluminium was coated, if you want my honest opinion on that. It's a carbon brush motor system. So you want to be looking at the carbon brushes in the motor, making sure that the armature is all cleaned up. Carbon brushes are changed. It's worth stripping things like the pump off and giving them a good clean, because those pumps, you were able to take the armature out of the pump and get rid of all the sludge in there, because water was designed to flow in that area to keep the motor cool. The jet system had a recirculation pump, so there was 2 pumps on that machine, and it was most probably running on the Nexus cabinet. Now, the Nexus cabinet, for those of you that don't know, let me get my technology and just move this camera. Oh, we've gone slightly blurred on the output there. So let me flick over to 2. Right, so if I flick over to 2 on this remote control. Now, if you look at this machine, the front panel comes off this. Oh, have I come off camera here? Bear with me. The front panel on this machine comes off. But on the Nexus cabinet, it was joined in the middle. And this means you either took the 2 halves of the cabinet apart. And I don't know what's gone wrong with the camera 3, but it looked a little blurred. No, it's clear now. That's all right. Yeah, so the Nexus cabinet on that machine was a very, very good cabinet and a very well designed machine. Hoover, I'm sorry about the pronunciation. Plus, I've been on for nearly 2 hours now. My higher washing machine has fire ants frequently coming out of the control panel. Fire ants? I'm not sure. Are you meaning the insects? Well, I have the only, well, to be honest, I have no idea here. Fire ants are not something that we get a lot of in the UK. The only way you could possibly do to get rid of them, you'd be able to smoke them out, I imagine. And this means basically having something that's not burning, but creating smoke. And you can actually buy some sprays which are smoke sprays and get them out. But how you keep them out, I have no idea. The only way of really keeping any insects out of the electrics are sealing up the whole place. But this means that it's not going to get cooling. Really, you want to be thinking about relocating your machine if it's external, because what a lot of people don't realize, in the UK, all our appliances are normally in the kitchen. But I've lived in Africa, I've lived in Portugal, Spain, Turkey as well. And a lot of people have their washing machines on the veranda or even outside the house. And, they get different problems to what we do. Rodents, for example, are a big problem in Portugal when it comes to appliances, because people put them outside, but yet the mice and rats come the winter like to go inside the machine because of the warmth, and they have a tendency to chew on everything. So not only are they eating the rubber pipes, they're eating the electrics as well. So lots of different problems, different countries. Could I repair your service 30-year-old tumble dryer? The motor is starting to fail. Look, first thing I would do is use your model number. There is still a lot of people selling spare parts for these type of machines. That twin tub over there is a 1974. It's 62 years old. I went on eBay the other day and I found the two belts I need for the bottom of the machine. Still for sale today. So yes, you can still find components. What I would be looking for, and this is a useful tip for you, if you go onto Facebook or also go onto eBay, logged into your account, you've got a save search button. So if you search for service, model number, washing machine motor, and you get 0 results today, if you press the save search button, eBay or Facebook will notify you when one is listed. This means that you could just put the machine in the garage, wait until a part becomes available, and then you'll get a part. And we might even end up with one on the website. I have no idea. Things are changing all the time, but I hope that helps you. But no, me personally, I have enough work to do as it is without helping people out on their individual machines. I wish I had time. I'm very sorry, but I don't. But I'm sure there's someone in your area that would be happy to help you. What do you think of smaller double tub washers that are growing? Oh God, yeah. Bourbon Rose, good afternoon to you. Yes, I have seen a washing machine with a big drum at the bottom, a little drum up here, and a little drum over here. Don't bother. That's my simple answer with that. I think it's a ludicrous idea. What do we need it for? I mean, are we getting that particular... Oh, something fell off the workbench. Are we getting that particular... We can't wear normal clothes and we need all these special drums for this, that, and the other? It's not needed, mate. I'm so, lady, whichever you are. I really just stick to a basic washing machine. You're only going to regret it long term, because if they can't make a washing machine to last for 5 to 6 years at the moment, what do you think is going to happen when you have a machine with 3 drums? It's 3 times the possibilities for faults. So that's my honest opinion on that. Next one. Okay. I'm watching the microphone, by the way, in case batteries fail, because this is a problem when you're streaming for 2 hours. Chris Bailey, good afternoon to you. When you change bearings and spider on the front loader, do you pack grease between the bearings? And most bearings now already become sealed with grease in them. Most washing machine bearings are encapsulated, for a better word. And then you have a seal that sits on the shaft and protects the water from the drum going into the bearings. I always smear a little bit of Vaseline onto them when I change them, but that's just my practice. If they're built correctly and inserted correctly, you should have no problems with them for many, many years. And what type of sealant is best to use with the drum and seal? There are so many different brands out there today. It depends on the machine. I usually use a waterproof silicone sealant. This is not like the bath sealer or anything like that. It's specifically designed for the automotive industry or for washing machines and everything. It's like a glue, basically, but it's not a glue that can't be separated again. It's a silicone, and there are so many different variations now, so you'll have to do some research which is the best one. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to go sticking my name to brands that I know nothing about. But have a look. You're bound to get a company to help you. Next one. LPT 630635. I was planning to buy a new washer, so I started doing some research. I drove into YouTube. I dived into YouTube, and now I realize that my brands don't even seem to care about their consumers. I think the world's going to become a better place because of the YouTubers in whatever country you're from are exposing. I'll make a video, for example, and I will guarantee you there will be 3 or 4 more videos about spiders. I did one yesterday, 3 days ago. It's had 20, 30,000 views, something like that. And these people who know absolutely nothing about washing machines will go out and replicate that video. But it's also doing beneficial good as well as beneficial bad. One is it's basically harming YouTube with regards people who know nothing about a subject are producing content, and they might not produce it very well. But they are better videographers than myself and better editors than, say, Burkeye, who assists me and works with me. But they will also expose the industry for what it is, meaning that more people see about the problem. And at the moment, more people need to see about the problem than me earning an income from YouTube, because the problem exists in a way that is damaging not only our personal economies, where we're having to go out and buy new machines every 3-4 years, but it's also devastating the planet with regards resources, just for the sheer sake of capitalism, with regards consumerism, and keeping these companies highly profitable and shareholders happy. We need to go back to a bit more basics. I understand mobile phones, technologies like this camera are evolving and you have to replace them. But when the washing machine has not really changed in the last 60 years, why are we having to replace it so often? The washing machine has not really changed in 50 to 60 years. It still fills, turns clockwise, turns anti-clockwise, heats, washes, empties, rinses, spins. Nothing's changed. I nearly said it then. For RK me, somebody gave that man a stiff whiskey quickly. He is for aiding. I am going at 7 o'clock. Mark my words. It's beer o'clock and I'm out of here. So next one. And it's your beer as well. Thank you very much. Any more there, Burkeye? Oh, yes, there is. So your next question is another, but better than all the rest. Internet company and host honest, reliable repairs. Yeah, well, they are doing something on YouTube which I've had to apply for, and it's called a badge of some type. I think YouTube is starting to vet certain channels and say these people are an authority on this or something. I don't know the ins and outs of YouTube, but they're changing a lot of things on YouTube. You can imagine everyone owns a mobile phone today. Everyone's got an opinion, and everyone thinks they can earn a fortune on YouTube. I can honestly tell you, and Burkeye, who's hidden behind the camera, receives a salary. His salary with the kit that I have to buy is basically what I earn from doing this. Where I gain the income from is basically I've got a website and other bits and pieces, and I make a living. I don't need to make wealth. I do this because I'm 60 and I enjoy doing it. I'm very lucky that my mother left me reasonably comfortable, and my businesses from previous years have also left me comfortable. I don't require a 5-bedroom house and lawnmowers going around it. I predominantly half the year live in a camper van, and I enjoy traveling to go and visit colleagues in the industry, to go to new countries and explore the industry, within those countries. We spent 5 months or 4 months down in Morocco last year looking at the appliance industry down there, even fixing washing machines in the Sahara Desert. I mean, there's a whole playlist on Morocco. And I intend to do a lot more of that because I actually enjoy it. And I'm actually building stuff now that goes into a case or whatever. And I can take my whole studio with me with all my tools and then look at the Portuguese appliance market and do some repairs down there. Go to Turkey, which I'm going shortly, and doing some appliance videos down there. All I need is a building to do this in now that I've built everything the way I want it, and setting up a workbench for someone in Turkey, for example, Berkay, he's able then to produce content in his native language. And that's why Berkay's been with me, sir, or put up with me for the last 2 years. But anyway, there we go.
3, mate.
Go on. You were saying?
It is 3, not 2.
Oh, right. Okay. 3. See, he's had to suffer me more. Right. Next one. Valwal. Can you help repair with hot tub heater? Hot tub. Oh, look, a hot tub's a hot tub. You just need to make sure it's very well tested when it comes to checking the installation on electrics and everything else, because the last thing you want to do is go and submerge yourself in an electric frying pot, shall we say. It's not my forte. You know, there must be some people on YouTube that do hot tubs. The electrical system is thermostatically controlled. It's got a pumping system on it to recirculate the water through the jets and everything. It will be quite a complex heater system because of the volume of water that you've got in a hot tub. I imagine it's a 3-phase water heater of at least consuming 25 to 30 amp, which would mean it would have somewhere in the region of a 5-6 kilowatt heater on it. So it's not my forte, and it's not something I really do on a regular basis. So you are better off having a look for the correct YouTube videos or dealing with someone locally that actually repairs them. I can't be more honest than that. It's not my forte at the end of the day. Next one. And then we're going to call it a day.
I'm waiting a comment from a user, mate. If he or she can ask a question, we can call it a day. But if not,
Right,
we can call it
okay.
right now. I'm just waiting.
Oh, okay, no problem. Well, I'm going to light another cigarette up. Bugger it.
Yeah, you can do that.
Is there anything else I can help with while you're waiting for that one?
No, actually, we are all done. There were more than 300 comments today, so it's like a record. So I need to be picky. So if I miss a question, I'm sorry about that.
No. Look, when we start filming the appliance repair videos in here with the cameras tracking me and everything else, you're going to have to be very selective on the questions while I'm stripping the machines down. They're going to have to be related. I can't just answer questions on people's hot tubs, for example. It's not related really to this channel. Although I do electrics, it's not my speciality. Actually, I've never been in a hot tub, I don't think. No, I don't think I've actually helped some people repair them, but I've never actually been in a hot tub. I have to put that on my list. You got an answer to that question or not?
He said, I tried 3 times, but I can't see it. So probably YouTube is blocking it.
Well, I got no idea. So there could be all sorts of things going on. Anyway, let's call it a day. It's 9 o'clock your time. I hope you enjoyed the show. For those of you who are still here, as you know, I've managed to get this workshop set up now so that we've got multiple cameras. I've got camera 1, which is over there, camera 2, which is the overhead one over there, camera 3 now, which is this one, and then I've got one in front of the desk when I'm working on it. And all these cameras will track me. So I've actually got tracking capabilities on different cameras. If I flick to that one, I can put that on tracking, and then that will follow me around. So hopefully we can do some very good repair videos for you in the future. Thank you, Berkay, for looking after us today for 2 hours. Do appreciate it at this time of evening.
My pleasure.
Let me flick onto camera 3 so it's got me. If you've got any questions that you'd like answered on the show, please use the website and use the contact us page. Make sure you put something in there that's going to catch my attention, because we do get a lot of questions. We've got a few more days of answering FAQs to get up to date, and I've got deliveries tomorrow on the candy machines tomorrow. I think a Hoover machine's coming in tomorrow, a Hoover machine's coming in tomorrow, and another brand as well. And then we got some more deliveries coming in later in the week. So thanks very much indeed for watching. If I didn't get round to your questions, use the contact us page on the website. Thank you to everyone who supported the live stream by donating. Much appreciated. Take care all. Have a good evening. Ciao.